That brings me neatly to your new book, which I think is coming out in a couple of weeks' time, The Progressive Patriot. Do you tackle some of these issues? Are you urging, for example, that we've got to look again at rights and responsibilities as British citizens?
I am. The whole notion of the book came together really around the idea of belonging. And behind that question about belonging is the politics of identity. I wish it was different, but unfortunately immigration is now at the top of the political agenda. And as we know, there are many people out there who are seeking to exploit that fact. Some on the far right in the British National Party, others, suicide bombers attacking our multicultural society, are putting in question the whole process of a cohesive modern society based on community. The sense of community, I think, has been fractured here in London by the bombings, and the British National Party winning 12 council seats in Barking and Dagenham, which is my hometown, although I no longer live there, as both those events really shocked me. I'd already begun to write this book, and whilst I am writing about the debate that's referred to as Englishness or Britishness, depending on which, I found that those are two words that are a bit like multiculturalism. They mean different things to different people. In the end, we're talking about how we create a cohesive society. And I believe that rights become very, very important in this, because we've got to find, I believe, universal values that belong to everybody, not that are vested in one community or ethnicity because of their length of tenure anywhere. We need universal values. After the London bombings last year, there was a huge debate about multiculturalism and British values, in which neither of these things was defined, particularly British values. I really did Google the hell out of British values to try and find something, but found nothing. But if people are asked on a one-to-one basis, they do often come down around ideas of tolerance, which I think is very important, but more important, of fairness. That the British are a fair-minded people, they believe in fair play, and I think this is important, because if we are looking for a universal value that is wanted by, not just by those people who are coming here from abroad looking for a better life for their families, but also those people who are voting BNP out in Barking and Dagenham want fair access to resources locally. Fairness, I think, although it's a very, broad brush idea, I do think that's where we might begin if we want to talk about British values. And in the book I talk very much about that, and also about the founding of the welfare state, the experience of the Second World War, and the realisation that the individual can only really survive the war really because of the collective effort of everybody else, and through that realisation, the relationship between the individual and the community. And these things, I think, are very, very important to be looked at again. And at the base of this, something solid to say to immigrants when they come to our country, this is who we are and this is what we believe in. I think there's a need there for a Bill of Rights, not a Bill of Rights in the sense of 1689, which really was an agreement between Parliament and the monarchy. Yeah, we do have a constitution. I mean, people say we don't have a constitution. We do have a constitution. It's just that we, the people, are not involved in it. It's a constitution that involves only the executive and the monarchy. We, the people, need to have some document that begins with that phrase. There's no phrase in British law that begins "we, the people," and we desperately need something like that for ourselves, not just for those people who are coming from elsewhere, but for ourselves in a time of heightened security, while the government are constantly tightening the civil rights that we have. We really do need to be strengthening our civil rights as the government are trying to protect us. I don't see why, as we're more protected, our rights shouldn't also be more strengthened. I am not opposed to identity cards, but I want my identity card with my rights on the back. Give me a Bill of Rights with my identity card and I will accept it. An identity card without a Bill of Rights, I think, is a very dangerous development.